Let's head back to Minneapolis for more Mad Dog Unleashed, live from Radio Row. Here's your host, Christopher Russo.
As we talked about what's going on, we'll get to Epson in a sec with our good buddy Doug Flutie, Heisman Trophy winner and all those good things. Does all the football at college. I haven't talked to him in a while, and he says hello. Doug, Chris Russo, welcome back. How are you today, okay?
I'm doing great. Just making the rounds, running into old friends.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. You know, a lot of things to do. Let's do Fran Tarkington first. I don't... how old are you? 50 what?
55.
All right, so you're a little younger than me.
I like Fran.
But you probably saw a lot of him at the late part of the Minnesota career. And you're a little bit like him in a lot of ways. Give me some.
In a lot of ways, Fran Tarkington was the first guy as a kid, I loved watching him play. It was fun to watch. But the first guy that realized you could use the field behind you to move around as well. You didn't just drop back and everybody step up in the pocket and slide and move and try to scramble. He would double back, use the field, and he also realized you didn't have to cross the line of scrimmage. Stay behind the line of scrimmage, hold on to the football, and look downfield for big plays. I loved watching him play. Some combination of he and Roger Staubach I loved.
Well, in a lot of ways, Roger Staubach the better athlete, but in a lot of ways there's some similarities there. He set all the records, Tarkington. I saw him too, and he got the 3 Super Bowls. My only issue with Fran is that in those games he did absolutely nothing. Now, I understand that the Steelers are an all-time defense. Miami they have 3 straight Super Bowls. They had a great defense, too. And obviously the Raiders were due. So I get he was up against big-time teams. But I had Alan Page on here the other day. He said, listen, we scored 14 points in one game against Oakland. We had 6 against Pittsburgh and 3 against Miami. You got to score some points. Do you think that kind of style is ineffective against a big defense in that kind of spot?
No, well, it's one game out of the year. He played some good defenses, I'm sure, through regular season games, and it went the other way. It's on that day. You know, those are just a microcosm of the season, and it's one game, and it's a shame to have those days happen, you know, where teams take it to you, but sometimes you lose. I played in a bunch of Grey Cups, and I had one team, they were just flat out better than us, and we got beat.
So you live with it. All right, how many times playing youth football, JV, and varsity football did people think, they said it in the NFL later, but how many times for you growing up did they think you're too small, you can't play, find another position, find another sport? You must have heard that a million times growing up.
Yeah, I made the tackle football team, and then they found out I was too young, so they made me go play another year of flag football. Then the next year I didn't weigh enough, and they wanted me to go back and play another year of flag football, but I started putting weights in my pockets when I'd weigh in. And
so you figured out how to beat the system? I figured out how to beat
the system there. When I was in high school and being recruited, high school as a sophomore, I was athletic as anything, but they were still worried about my size that they didn't want to put me on the field defensively. My older brother was the starting quarterback at the time. And they finally put me on the field, and this big fullback broke loose. He's a Division I fullback. And I ran up to make the tackle, and they thought I was going to get killed. Instead of tackling him, I just grabbed the ball, ripped it out of his hand, and ran the other way.
Oh, my God. So you had the savviness right away.
Figure out a way to get it done. And at every level, I was too small.
Were you recruited by a lot of other schools besides just BC?
I was recruited by 1AA schools, an Ivy League kid, Harvard, Brown, University of New Hampshire, Holy Cross, those types of schools. And
hard to play. Did you have a dream about playing in the NFL even back then?
No, I didn't look that far ahead. You know, for me to play Division I football, it was like all of a sudden in my senior year, I'm like, well, maybe I got a shot. Okay, well, I'm going to be an Ivy League kid. Then late in the recruiting season, there was a coaching change. A bunch of guys turned down BC, and they ended up offering me really, really late, and I kind of slid in under the radar and got an opportunity.
All right. How about the year you win the Heisman? The Miami game was an interesting game because Miami did not have a good year that year. You know, they had so many good years. That was an off year.
Well, they had a great year going. And then the week before us,
they lost to who?
They lost to Maryland. Maryland was down like 30-3.
That's that great comeback.
Right, the great comeback. I think Boomer Esiason was their quarterback. Either he or Frank Wright. Might have been Frank. But anyway, so they come back and beat Miami.
Remember the game.
Then we play them, and we have the Hail Mary on the last play of the game to beat them. Then they go to their bowl game and lose on a 55-yard field goal on the last play of the game. So they lost their last 3 in a row, and it just kind of the bottom fell out of that season.
Did you know when that play was completed and you're running off the field, did you know that you had made a play for the ages?
Not at all. We thought we had when it was complete. Number one, I didn't know who caught the ball yet until I got near the locker room. Number two, it was just an exciting moment. We had had last second wins.
You were 9-2 that year, right?
Yeah. We lost to I think Penn State was a national champion. We lost to that year, and then West Virginia beat us. They were a top 10 team as well. So what ended up happening was in that moment, we'd had last-second victories and all that stuff before, but we didn't realize till we got home. When we landed in Boston, there were like 10,000 people at the airport. Now, Boston is a pro sports town.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Yes, but
they couldn't care less about college football, and we had 10,000 people, and we're like looking at each other saying,
well, that must
"It's a little bigger than we thought. About a 2-pounder."
Now you went to USFL. This is where I saw you play that first ever exhibition game you played against. I was working for the Orlando Renegades, and you played in Orlando. You went for the USFL. Did Trump own a team?
Trump owned our team.
All right. Now, I always thought that he ruined the league because he wanted to go play in the NFL, and a lot of those USFL teams were having a nice little run. Birmingham, Orlando, Jackson, nice little run. They love their little springtime football, and here's Trump who wants to get a merge, and then he sues him, and it was a mess. When did you have any trepidation at all signing with Trump when he was when he owned the Generals?
Not at all. We were run as a first-class franchise. We were run like an NFL franchise.
You had Sipe there.
We had good travel, good accommodations. He took care of us, which wasn't the case with a lot of USFL teams. Brian Sipe was the starting quarterback when I got there. After I signed my deal, they traded Sipe over to Jacksonville. He played with Jacksonville. Had a fantastic franchise going.
Infante was a good coach. And Gary Clark played there. There were a lot of players.
There were 15 USFL players that the year after the league folded played in the NFL Pro Bowl. I mean, you're talking guys like Reggie White, Herschel Walker, Maurice Carthon at fullback, Kent Hall we had as our center, perennial Pro Bowler in Buffalo, Jim Kelly. Steve Young. You name it. There was a ton of talent in that league.
Wow! So you had a very good experience with Trump then running the franchise.
I really did. I did. It was first class. We had what we needed. It was run like an NFL franchise, and I had no complaints about it. I wish that league had lasted just a little longer. I think that did a lot for the NFL and salaries across the board for everyone at that time.
All right, you go to the Patriots, and then you ended up later on with how many Grey? You win 5 Grey Cups? How many did you win?
Oh, I won 3. I went. What is it? 3, 4. I don't even remember. 3 Grey Cups. Back to back.
What team did you play for?
3 Grey Cups. 1 in Calgary and 2 in Toronto. It's 6 MVPs was the big deal. And
did you love playing there?
I loved it. It put such fun back into football for me. They let me loose a little bit, free reign. I called a lot of my own plays. We started that old RPO stuff 25 years ago.
Run, pass, out.
Oh yeah, we were doing everything out of shotgun and spreading people out. So you had that run game out of the shotgun. Okay, we ran the ball. Well, the defensive end could see that happening, and they start chasing it down. So we would just pull it and run a naked bootleg. Then the defensive back would start coming off. So we tell the guy, you run a fade and you just run a quick flat in case they come off the edge. And it just developed there wasn't anything complicated. Now they got to write it in the playbook. If you get this, then this, and that, all these rules and make it more complicated than it actually is. But a guy named Marcus Allen's brother, Damon Allen,
yep,
started that stuff. He did it better than anyone up there. He would read the backside, chase it, and just pull it out, kind of like zone read.
So you loved it up there. Interesting. All right, now, which makes sense. You won the MVPs. You were the quarterback on the other side with the Music City Miracle. Were you not the quarterback for?
I didn't start that game.
Oh, you didn't start
the game. That was the big controversial.
You and Rob Johnson, right?
I had started all year long, and Rob started the playoff game.
Did he play the whole game that day?
Yes, he did.
Wow, that had to be painful.
That was not fun. I still believed we were a good enough team that we were going to win that game and move on. And at some point, I'd probably end up on the field. Rob got banged up a lot. So some combination of the two of us, I thought we were going to get it done.
And you started the playoff game in Miami against the Dolphins. Did you not for Buffalo?
Yes, I did.
And you played well in that game. I
had a really nice game throwing a football. I had... we started to play. I think we had 4 or 5 fumbles that day. First play of the game, I threw a 60-yard post to Eric Molds. He's behind the coverage, hit him. Going to get he gets stripped and fumbled. It's like we fumbled twice inside the 10, and I had one of those. I got blindsided right towards the end of the ball game.
That's right. You were driving. You were driving to win it.
We were down by 2 scores. We drove down. We were going to get in the end zone. We're down by 10. Andre Reed, I just saw Andre today, got hit at the goal line and thought he was in, jumped up thinking it was a touchdown. The official ruled it short of the goal line. He bumped the official, gets a penalty, backs us up. We end up kicking a field goal.
Down 7.
Down 7. Kicked the onside kick, got it with a minute and change to go. We go down. We're inside the 10. We're on the 3-yard line with, just seconds left, maybe 2 plays for the end zone. And Trace Armstrong's came around the edge and blindsided me, and the ball was out.
Remember the game, Saturday afternoon was the first wild card game that day. I remember the game. You had a hell of a... Is there any regret in your life from an NFL perspective? You had a great career. You won a Heisman Trophy. You won all the Grey Cups. There's always that doubt whether Doug Flutie could be a winning NFL quarterback. That doubt now would be eliminated. You'd be playing. Back then, it was a little different. Do you have regrets about that?
No regrets. I played 21 years. I played 13 in the NFL. And really, really just happy looking back at it all. I think the one thing I wish I had done is trust my own judgment more early on. I was whatever I was coached to do, I tried to do. I tried to please the coach, and I really, when I came back from Canada, I had confidence in my play calling ability and what I had been doing in Canada, and it really rejuvenated all that confidence in me to come down and just turn it loose and play.
Be yourself.
Yeah, and be myself.
Let chips fall where they may.
Yeah.
You're in a tough spot there early in your career. All right, how about Epson, Doug? Give me some thoughts on this.
Epson Printers, Epson Office Supply. I mean, I've been with them for 3 years. I am a small business owner myself, and you look for ways to be as efficient as possible to cut some corners without worrying about that the quality is still going to be there. And with printers, you can do your own signage, postage, printing needs in-house to save money, as well as the new thing is a fast photo, which is basically scanning of photos quickly, second a photo, front and back. That's the new deal right now. And the thing I like talking about is the EcoTank, which is up to 2 years without replacing the cartridge. I mean, how many times is someone in an office, you walk over and it's out of ink, so you wait for someone else to go change it? Well, now it's every 2 years.
You're famous in America. You're famous in Boston, Heisman Trophy, and college football ranks. Can you walk down the streets of Calgary or not?
Actually, I was up in Calgary for a reunion, and it was, I guess I don't go back enough.
Are you a hero in Calgary?
I'm a hero in Calgary.
How about
it
that?
was fun.
Look at that.
It was fun. It was just fun to see all the guys, and the people there really appreciated you coming back, and I got a real close attachment to the CFL.
You did a great job for me, Doug. Good to have you with us again.
Thank you so much.
You got it, Doug Flutie, 17 in front of the hour. We continue here on Mad Dog Unleashed.